When I gave the word, now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Listen as the crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. One minute I held the key, next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered that my castle stand upon pillars of salt and pillars of sand. I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, once you've gone it was never, never an honest word. And that was when I ruled the world. It was the wicked and wild wind, blew down the doors to let me in, shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionaries.
Respect for spectators. Okay. Yep. Conducting ourselves, when we wear this badge, conducting ourselves in the right manner. So that means our language, our actions, the way we treat others, isn't it? So that starts here as well, guys. When we're representing this team, we need to be showing respect for community members by treating them the way that they deserve. Right? Because they see you wearing this shirt and they think that guy's doing the right thing and that organisation must be going the right. Third one there, we've got heart power. Commitment to the team, self-discipline and sacrifice. Now all of those terms were just mentioned on the video, weren't they? All the NRL players mentioned things like having discipline, making sacrifices to achieve what they want. Next one down, we've got leadership. Leadership qualities are sought in everyone. Now you heard Dennis Keefe speak today about Matt Singh and the leadership qualities he displayed when he went to the Cowboys. Right, that's what we want to see you guys bring. Everyone being a leader in some capacity. Second last one, pursuit of excellence. Pursuing excellence in education and sport is paramount. Developing lifelong skills and growing into valuable members of society. Right, so that's what we're doing here, guys. We're trying to give you some of the skills that you can take out into the community and be educated and do the right things. Also, notice on the video that we just watched, a lot of the guys talked about completing school. I think Daniel Mortimer mentioned doing his high school certificate. Sam Thaiday mentioned about going through to year 12. And the last one, honesty and humility. The actions of all players and staff must be ethical, honourable and transparent. Always conduct ourselves with humility. And that comes back to the respect that we spoke about with spectators, with the opposition. We're humble, don't need to rub people's faces in our successes. Alright? Still take pride in our achievements, but not go over the top. Scenario says, Eric is in the school football team. He regularly binge drinks on Saturday nights, but he has decided to quit. So, group 4 is going to portray that scenario, and then they're going to show us how Eric
See you guys. That's the way. Go home. I'm going to get back.
So, but how would he feel about himself after that? Because he said at the start, said at the start he didn't want to get into it with his mates. His mates pressured him, called him a pussy. Right? And so he buckled, got on it. He knew Mum wasn't going to be happy with him, but he still did it, didn't he? So how would he feel about himself? Hang on, one at a time. Okay, so he's done something that he knows that his parents would think is wrong. And he's let himself down. That's a great point. Great point. Boys, listen up for a sec. He's let himself down. He tried to stand up for himself at the start. Then he buckled into the peer pressure, gave in, and in the end he'll feel disappointed with himself. Guys, that was excellent. Really well done.
Oh, losers, hey, day now, flogging years. Oh, that's cool. Sticky bird? Yeah, mate. Oh, yeah, it's good stuff, mate. Come on, let's go train it. Oh, God, wait up, guys. And this is why you don't smoke.
So as we said, he's offered Mark's offered a cigarette from boys' friend on the way home from school. We kind of went away from on the way home from school and turned it into footy training, which is fine. It was really good. So he's offered a cigarette. Before he starts smoking, he's killing everyone in training. As soon as he starts smoking, his performance drops. So his respect for himself then drops too. Good work, boys.
And fluid. So basically you want to try and meet your fluid needs, because if you don't, that's when you'll get dehydrated. So do you guys, have you heard of the term dehydration? Yep. So we'll go into a little bit later on as to how this affects your performance. So basically, if you consume your fatty food, so things like McDonald's, ice cream, donuts, before your rugby games, your sugar levels will go really high, and then they'll go really low really quickly. So that means you're going to get really tired during the game and not going to perform at all.
Respect for other people. We've covered respect for ourselves. And we're also going to have a look at some situations and how we can avoid putting ourselves into those situations. Then finally, we're going to have a look at a couple of case studies. So we're going to have a look at some current NRL players and situations that they've landed themselves in. And we're going to look at how we may have approached a similar situation and ways we can avoid getting ourselves into trouble. As we all know, Matt's had a great career in the game and is held in the highest regard off the field as well. So a very good role model. In a moment, we're going to look at some situations where people haven't shown respect to others or haven't been tolerant of certain groups of people. And there's been consequences because of that. And I'm talking about very high profile NRL players. Alright, so we're going to get into that in a moment. We want to look at avoiding harmful situations. So we might start with our group over here.
Bow fishing. There was an image track with a dog. Well, Joe Monahan was intoxicated. We'll say what made it worse is his friends took a photo and posted it on the internet.
Who was involved in the incident? Joel, the dog, and his friends.
What was the consequences of it after? He lost his contract, reputation was destroyed. He had to go overseas to play league, let his families and friends down, as well as his teams, Australia and himself.
Who was affected by the action or decision? Family, friends, clubs, sponsors, himself, fans, girlfriend, everybody that helped him.
What would have been the best way to avoid this situation? Stay sober and not drink as much. Have a sensible friend. He could have had a few drinks and went home as well.
So guys, with Joel Monaghan with that photo of the dog being posted on the internet, everyone looks at Joel Monaghan and look, disgusting thing to do, terrible thing to do. What about his mates that were there too? What sort of blokes are they? Right? To encourage him to do that and to then post it around as well. So, not very good friends. Well said. All right, next group up.
Brady, can I just say one thing? Just one of those things that we talked about when we done that group was that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life. And one of the big things that we said, why is it going to haunt him for the rest of his life, was that picture's on the internet. That's there forever. In 20 years' time, you can go on the internet and look up Joel Monaghan dog. That picture's probably going to pop up. So as much as that happened and everyone goes, oh, well, it's happened. And this is what Brady's been talking about, or Andrew's been talking about, is once these pictures go out there on the internet and the way it is now, they're always there. So as much as you think, oh, I've grown up, I'm not a silly bugger anymore, 5-10 years, someone can always go back and go, hey, you might be now, but you were. Look at this photo to prove it. And that's where it's really dangerous.
But it's also about what you're going to be remembered for. Joel Monaghan played for New South Wales and Australia, but no one remembers that. You ask anyone in the football community about Joel Monaghan and they'll say, he's the bloke with the dog.
Matthew John's 6 What was the issue? Can other players give the club a bad name through sex scandal? Who was involved? Players include Matthew Johns, Daniel Ninnis, Luke Branahan. What was the consequence of the action? Clubs lost money, got bad names, sponsors lost. Matthew Johns lost his job, bad name, lost family for a bit. Who was affected by the action decision? Clubs, family, fans, sponsors, Matthew Johns, other players. What would have been the best way to avoid this situation? Not get involved.
Good work, boys. Is everyone seeing the recurring theme with all of these? When we look at who was affected by the action or decision, it's never just the one person, is it? There's a wide range of people that are affected. Families, friends, sponsors, the club, other players. All right. Remember at the start of last night's session I was talking about stakeholders. Everyone who has an interest in the organisation. Right? All these blokes, through their actions, have affected all these other people, haven't they? Now, as I said, the whole purpose of that was to have a look at some people that we've all looked up to who have got themselves into harmful situations and look at the impact that those decisions that they've made have had on a large range of people, like the stakeholders that we've spoken about, and ways in which they could have been avoided. So hopefully we've learned from their mistakes. Now, when we look at those guys as well, they're just people like you and I. Right? They make mistakes, we make mistakes. Alright? These guys have come out, they have apologised for their actions. As we've spoken about, as Justin mentioned, like the Joel Monaghan thing's going to follow him around for the rest of his life. Like that's a pretty heavy burden to bear without everyone else putting judgment on him. So we do need to have tolerance for these people, but that doesn't excuse what they've done, and hopefully we can learn from it.